Woo-wee, that was some fun statistics there. And let's keep going down this path of data management in regards to our statistics class as we talk further about merging data files, specifically what we will want to do when we are not merging data files, trying to bring together two data files with the same variables but different cases, but what we'll do when we have the same cases but different variables. Again, the last merge was looking at same variables, different cases. Here we're going to look at same cases, different variables. And in order to do an example of this, we are going to merge data using the Social Vulnerability Index, which again is stored on our Blackboard page under the SPSS Bootcamp site. So I'm going to click there, and now I'm going to go ahead and download these two data files. So the first one are these two files. The first one, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Social Vulnerability Index. It is downloading here. This is quite a large data file. You'll see that it's going to take us a second while it's doing that. Let's go ahead and make sure we're getting back to where we want to pull all of our data in. And here in particular, we're going to go ahead and get back to our SPSS examples. It is very quickly wrapping up that download, and it looks like we're done here. So I'm going to go to our downloads page and find my data file there. And I'm going to pull that into here. Now what we'll notice here is that unlike before where we had these zip files, the file that I just pulled in is a DBF file. No, this is not an SPSS data file, but it is a data file that is stored in a different file format. And so what we're going to do is we're going to want to exercise that idea of what we had done previously with our SAS export file to bring in this DBF file into SPSS. But before we go to do that, let's go ahead and complete our full download here. And we're going to grab this U.S. presidential election 2016 by Phipps. That was a quick file to download, so I'm going to minimize these. We'll see that it's here in my download folder, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this over here. What you'll see here is that this is an SAV file. We are not downloading a folder, but we downloaded an SPSS file specifically. The reason for that is this is a file that I created and then uploaded onto Blackboard. So I have now pulled my two data files that I'm interested in eventually merging down here into my folder. So now I'm going to return to SPSS, and the first thing we're going to want to do is we've got to get this DBF file into an SPSS format. And again, we're just going to exercise the same skills we were working on previously when we have files saved in different formats. That skill being to go to open it through SPSS by going to File, Open, Open Data. Again, I'm going to close this out for just a second so we do that again. File, Open, Data. It pops up, so now I need to go find my SPSS folder, and I'm going to go to Computer, C drive, user, moi, which is me, and my SPSS examples. And so again, what we'll see here is that because the file, the US presidential election file that we downloaded is already an SPSS data file, it pops up. But we're not interested in that one yet. The one we're interested in is that DBF file. So again, I need to go and look for that different type of file. So I'm going to go down here to the file type drop down, and I'm going to scroll, I'm going to scan through it until I find my DBF, which is DBase files. Click on that, and voila, we have our DBF file identified. So I'm going to double click on that, which is going to get SPSS into action, where it's pulling in all of our different pieces of data. And so here what we see is our social vulnerabilities file. Now, what is the social vulnerability file? This is a file that was generated, and it provides us with statistics about each county in the United States, and it gives statistics associated with that county. What those statistics are is not necessarily obvious based upon the information here. I mean, here we can see, so we got some idea about maybe this has something to do with the square mileage, this has something to do with total population, but it's not 100% clear. And unfortunately, when we go to the variable view, we'll see that our label column is blank. That is to say that our poor data file does not have any labels in it. And so this is not good for us in order to better understand what it is we're looking for. And so because of that, in addition to these two data files on the Blackboard website, you'll also notice that there was one additional file, which is the Social Vulnerability Index User's Guide. And so we can click on that, and it will pop up here, and I'm going to ask it to download that. And then I would like to save it, and I want to save it the same place I've been saving my other stuff. So that's on my C drive, under Users, under Me, under SPSS Examples, and I'm going to go ahead and save it there. I'm going to remove the 1, and again, the reason the 1 is showing up is the fact that I've done all of this before on my computer. You will not see that 1 unless you've already downloaded this document yourself onto your computer. So I'm just removing that so we can standardize what you and I are seeing as much as possible. So I'm saving that there, and now I've got my pop-up. And so here in this pop-up is a sort of a very quick user's manual of what it is that is contained in this data file. And so if I scroll down through here, it gives me a whole description, but what I'm really interested in is this right here, which is where it gives me the variable name in this column and a description of that variable as well. And so I can use this to crosswalk with the data file that I just got in order to determine what this particular variable means. And so here, this variable pop, this variable, we look and we can find it right here. And that variable is population estimate 2010 to 2014 ACS. And ACS is the American Community Survey. And so we could go through and we could insert those labels all throughout here. I'm not going to go through that process right now, but it is something that we could do, and it would allow us to fill in more information in our data file, but simply having it over here in the user's manual gives us the opportunity to learn more about the types of data that we're looking at. But again, we're not necessarily interested in this moment in time about learning the data per se, but rather we want to try to get this data to do something, which in this case is to merge with another data file. And so we want to go ahead and we want to pull in cases from another data file, and that other data file is the US presidential results data file that we were looking at previously. So in order to do that, we want to go to Data, Merge, and last time we used add cases. This time we want to do add variables. And again, the reason for that is last time we were adding, we had the same variables but different cases. This time we have the same cases but different variables. And so I want to add variables here. And again, the case in this situation is county in the United States. So I'm going to say add variables, and it's going to say where do you want to add variables from. Now I have another data file that's already open, but there's nothing actually contained there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say actually I need to open up an external data file. And so I'm going to click this external SPSS statistics data file button and then the browse button over here, and it's going to pop up, and it's already lucky for me, it is already on the folder that I'm interested in looking at, and there I see my US presidential election data file already there in all its shining glory. And so I can double click on that, and that's going to pull it in here, and then I want to click continue, and this is going to take me to the next page. Now here are any variables that show up in both of the data files. What we see is no variable is here. This is a problem because we need to have a variable to merge on, and so we are going to have to create a new variable to merge on that shares the same variable name across these two data sets, and we will do that in our next video.